Hey everybody, Minnesota Boy here. Just a short video this week to talk about Munzee, the game of Munzee. Now, as you all probably know, I live in the state of Minnesota. It gets pretty cold here in the wintertime. Actually, today it's not bad. It's about 40 degrees outside Fahrenheit. So it's above freezing, which is great for December. It's a little breezy, but as you know, it gets very cold here. It can be below zero a lot, and right now we don't have any snow. There's a little bit of wisps of snow here and there. The pond in front of me is frozen, but it can get very cold here, very snowy, very windy in the wintertime, and it's hard to play Munzee in those environments because you got to be outside and you got to be walking around and you're using your phone. And guess what? Your phone does not like the cold weather. If you've ever been out in the summertime in extreme heat and your phone tells you, hey, I got to shut down because it's too hot, that happens here in the wintertime too because of the cold. And it's funny thing is the iPhone will still tell you, hey, I'm overheating, so I got to shut down. But the battery life will just drop down to nothing very quickly. You've seen some of my Munzee videos at winter events in the past where it is just so cold that the phone just stops working. So today, again, not so bad, but I'm going to give you a couple of tips so that you can continue to play Munzee in the wintertime. Tip number one, just go to places where there are virtual, wherever they may be, maybe places where Munzee events have been in the past where there's still a lot of Munzees there, virtual Munzees that you haven't capped. You can do this from your car. Running the heater, you're fine. That's tip number one. Tip number two, if you have to do some physical Munzees, that means you got to get outside of your car and go and scan those QR codes. So here's a couple of tips for that. Tip number two, when you have to get out to do those physical QR codes, you got to wear your gloves, use a stylus. You can use a stylus touching your phone, and that way you can keep your gloves on. Actually, these gloves themselves, you can also touch the phone and it'll work just fine. There are those kinds of gloves and you can get those, but I find using a stylus in the wintertime really helps. Tip number three, battery life. Like I said, in the cold, the battery life on your phone is going to drop really fast. You can see that frozen pond back there now. Your battery life is going to drop really fast. So what you want to do is you want to have a battery that you keep inside your coat. If you keep it inside your coat, it's going to stay nice and toasty warm. You can see I got this battery pack right here inside my coat, connected with a cable to the phone, and it'll stay nice and toasty warm in there, and that will give you better battery life in the long run when you're outside in the cold. So these are just a few tips to keep you active in your Munzee game in the wintertime. No big deal. You can still get out and do it. You'll see me through this winter post some videos when we have events outside in the winter, when I'm outside playing Munzee, and you can do it too. Don't be afraid to get out and try. If you're new to the game of Munzee or you haven't played the game of Munzee yet, go ahead and scan my referral code right here. That'll get you started in the game and you can get started with Munzee. Now, here's a couple other tips for Munzee if you're a new player. Number one, take it easy, man. Figure out the things that you can figure out. There are a lot of things going on in Munzee, and Munzee is innovating all of the time. So you need to be, just as you're starting out, paying attention to the easy things. Cap those virtuals that you can cap when you're within their range. Find those QR codes and cap them. You can do those simple things and then just learn the other aspects of the game as you go along, because there are so many things to learn. If you are new to Munzee, I suggest watching this great set of videos by my good friend C. Michelle. I'll post these videos right here. I'll post a link in the information below so that you can find a playlist of cool videos that he has made on YouTube that'll explain the basics of Munzee to you, and you can just go through those 5 or 6 videos and you have a lot more information in your head so that you'll know how the game works. So get out and try the game of Munzee. It's a cool game to play. It's a points-based game and you'll have an awesome time doing it. All right, those are my tips for playing Munzee and for playing Munzee in the wintertime. If you're in cold weather like I am, get out and enjoy. It's still, you got to get outside and enjoy nature, and Munzee is a great way to do that. Don't let the cold stop you. We'll see you next time. Bye.